Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we want to talk about freight. And behind me I've had a 20-foot container come in yesterday. Now, I want to talk about how much that's impacted costs and how much freight is going up, and that's going to cause archery prices to go through the roof. Now, these are tight spot quivers. They're made in Canada. Now, normally it's about $10 a kilo to freight stuff in from Canada and the US, and that's a ballpark number. It's always been a number I go on. Currently, I've got a shipment there of 30 kilos worth of quivers, 3 boxes. So you go, well, 30 kilos, that's about $300, right, Stephen? Now, let's say these quivers are about $200, which is about what they are. There's probably about 10% freight in that quiver, so about 20 bucks. So I have 30 kilos worth of quivers ready to come from Tight Spot into Australia. And you go, well, how much is the freight? $3,000. What? $3,000 for 30 kilos. $100 a kilo. And you're like, you must be able to get cheaper than that. I'm like, surely I must be able to get cheaper than that. So then I contacted a few freight companies for freight, and they're like, $3,000. I'm like, that's crazy. How much is it to ship these in by sea? A little bit over $2,000. $2,000? From Canada for 3 boxes? I'm talking 3 little boxes. $2,000. Like, it makes the cost of this, it almost doubles the price of it. So it's created a huge problem for me, because let's say this is $200, it'll then turn into a $400 quiver. And what do you do? Now this has been an issue recently for me. I recently did an order from America for elevation quivers and some other things. And the freight should have been about $300. It came up at 1,300 American dollars. And I'm like, well, I can't bring this in because it's too expensive. What am I going to do? And I went back to the manufacturer and I was like, what do I do? And I think this gets to the whole point. Well, coming in by sea is going to be the only option, and the only option is going to be to fill a container. However, this container here, 20-foot container, how much did it cost? $15,000 for a 20-foot container. And you might say, well, how much is that, and how much does it normally cost? And look, a 20-foot container used to be about $3,000 to freight in, ballpark. $3,000, and I used to bring a 40-foot in for about $5,000. $15,000. Now, as a percentage of the stock, I've been in the archery industry for about 40 years, and the amount of the freight as opposed to the product, so the percentage on freight was always around 10%. And cheaper if you did it by sea. It was about 5% by sea, 10% by air, so there's a 5% margin there, and that's a fair bit in wholesale because you have about a 10% margin in wholesale. This shipment here, 20-foot container coming in, it was over 50% freight. 50%. Now I have a 10% margin on wholesale, about 20%, a little bit over 20% on retail. Over 50% freight. It used to be about 5% freight. So it's gone up by 45%. I'm going to leave you with that. So freight's gone up massive amounts. It's going to create massive shortages in stock coming in. And it's going to create big supply problems. Anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching.